The Photography Online podcast in partnership with Kingjoy Tripods.
Coming up on our festive podcast, we discover the camera system that can focus on everything all at once, look at the pro editing software that claims to now be free forever, and discuss the most expensive album artwork ever sold. We gather the whole team together for our final quiz of the year, and we look at the tiny hard drive that might get lost in your stocking, and the polariser that promises to give you back more light for the dark winter months.
And now, please welcome your panellists. A man who thought exposing to the right was the opposite of panning to the left. It's Nick Hansen.
That's why I always keep it down the middle.
And a man who proudly announced that his favourite portrait shape is the square. It's Marcus McAdam.
It's so much better than the landscape square.
And here to keep them both in check, the lady who is always hyper-focused. It's Ruth Taylor.
Hey everybody, welcome to our December podcast. It is in fact our festive podcast. I have to say, I completely forgot. I was thinking before we started recording, I need to get a bit of tinsel or wear a hat or something. Just, I know you guys can't see us, but for the benefit of my esteemed colleagues, to make us feel like we're in the mood. But nothing, unfortunately. You guys, neither of you made an effort either, I can see. No, Nick's got red on. Nick, you got a bit of red. That could count. Yep. There you go. Santa Claus. And Marcus.
Well, look, if you give me a chance, Ruth, I was going to say Happy Christmas.
Well, thank you, and happy Christmas to everyone else as well. Welcome to the podcast. As I said, I'm Ruth, your host. Marcus and Nick in with us today, and looking forward to having a bit of a slightly different. We've got a bit of a twist for this podcast. If you were listening at all to the live show that we did for November, we mentioned we're going to get the whole team in. So we've got another couple of guys going to come in. We've got James and Harry going to come in for the quiz a little bit later on, but we're making them sit out in the green room until then, and I got to say, I'm not sure they're entirely happy about it. but
don't they have canapes and free drinks in the green room?
Well, they do, and I had somebody, with one of these fans, just making sure they were comfortable. But still, I don't know. I can see shaking of head going on. But anyway, we'll come to it. The quiz, it's our final one, in fact, for the year, our 12-month. Is it just this year we've done the quiz? I'm trying to remember.
We're 12 rounds in at the moment.
12 rounds in, so we'll do a bit of a tot-up at the end and see if everyone...
I think I've probably left it a bit too late for a major comeback, haven't I?
Well, I mean, I could do things like double the points on the final one, but I shan't. But you never know. We'll see. You could try your system from last month, see if it works for you.
I've got a 100% success rate with that, so that's not going anywhere.
I'm actually interested to see how you're going to work out who won, because I think this is only the third time I've been on.
Marcus, this could be his crowning moment. He loves a bit of maths. We'll do it live, put him under pressure, and it's definitely not going to be him, put it that way, but we'll see. Anyway, we've got that coming up. We've got our gear section, of course, as well. Maybe some Christmas present ideas in there for you. But we are going to start off, as usual, with our news section. Story number one. Marcus, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so this is a story about a man who's lost thousands of precious photos when his phone crashed. His name is Stephen Baffardi. He's 38 years old, and he was transferring photos from his existing phone onto a new phone when the progress bar stopped and his phone crashed. And no matter what he did, he was unable to retrieve any of his photos. So they weren't on the old phone and they weren't on the new phone. Now, this obviously, is a good invitation to discuss the purpose of backups, which clearly he didn't have. We'll come to that in a minute. But he lost photos of friends and family, including early photos of dates with his now wife, Weena. They've got a 6-year-old daughter, and his main regret is that she will never see photos of her parents before she was around, in their dating phase, because the only ones that existed were all on his phone. So would that bother you if you didn't have any photos of your parents before you were around? I mean,
I don't know about Nick, but for me, I've only got a few in the old kind of Polaroid style anyway, and having a few makes it a bit more special in a way. I wouldn't, if there was 1,000 and I'd lost them, I wouldn't. Okay,
well, this is where I'm going. But Nick, what about you?
I don't know. I mean, like Ruth just said, I have some old prints of my mum, but yeah, I don't think it would bother me that much.
Yeah, well, I've got one photo of my parents before I existed. On
wow.
this. And because I only have one, it makes it special, like you said, Ruth. If I'd had a hard drive given to me with thousands and thousands of photos, I'd probably never look at it. I mean, it's so boring. It's unbelievable. So having learnt his lesson the hard way, Stephen now does what we should all do. And he prints out his photos, at least the ones that mean something to him. And he's putting together an album which documents the first 5 years of his daughter's life, something that he thinks she'll be incredibly thankful of when she gets older. And I don't disagree with that. Now, the article, which I'm quoting from here, it says, experts, whoever they are, because I mean, how can you be an expert in loss of photos? Do you know any experts in that field, Nick?
Well, it'll be data recovery, won't it? Experts in data recovery.
Okay, so experts suggest keeping 3 versions of your most treasured photos. Do you know what they are, Ruth?
Print, 1 hard drive backup, and a cloud.
Okay, so in the order of importance, according to experts, so don't argue with the experts, Ruth. In order of importance, the original on your phone, that's the most important one, but as we've just been discovering, that's not fail-safe. A copy online, i.e. in the cloud, and another on a hard drive. Okay, so they're the 3 different backups.
So no
but
print?
they go on, wait. They go on to say, some people take it even further and print out their photos. And I mean, the fact that these are experts and they're saying that, to print them out is going even further than 3 backups. I think that's where the problem lies, is that the whole purpose of printing out photos has become completely lost, I think, in today's world. And no one appreciates the, being able to hold something in your hand and looking at it. And I think that in 50 years' time, 100 years' time, the only photos that will still be around from today will be ones that are printed. Because if you think about it, all the photos that you've got stored on a hard drive or in the cloud, when you die, which we're all going to be dead in 100 years' time. I know that's sad to think about, but it's true. Any passwords that we've got, any accounts that we pay for, they're all going to stop. And so the photos are just going to cease to exist.
That's a bit depressing.
Well, I'm just making the point. Whereas if you print them out, put them in a shoebox under the bed, they're always going to be there. And that's how I have photos of my parents, because they're all printed. You've already said that the photos that you have of your parents are a Polaroid, and Nick has referred to the photos that he was talking about as being prints. Yep. And that's why I asked you the question, just to see what format they were in. And surprise, surprise, they're all printed.
The difficulty is you guys talk, and you've talked in the past, James has talked in the past about the shoebox under the bed. People take far more images now than they ever used to.
Yes.
And so you can't easily say to people, just print your photos, unless they've got some sort of system where once a month they choose 3 photos that mean something and they print them out. Which
and I think that's the thing. You have to curate your photos and only print the ones that actually mean something, which means that all the photos of your dinners and other things that we take hundreds of photos of pointless things every day, they can just get lost in the cloud or wherever it is on a hard drive, and no one's going to care, are they? But even if, let's just say, in 40 years' time, I'm 35 now. So in 40 years' time, I'm going to be 75. I'll probably be towards the end of my life. I drop down dead, and my children think, okay, well, let's go through his hard drives. They're going to be in for a shock, because even though I don't take that many photos now digitally, I went through a 10-year period where I did take a lot of photos, and they're just going to be bored stupid going through that lot. I mean, really. Just
going to press the delete button once.
Yeah,
and
but if I printed out a select number of photos, and they had maybe, 100 photos in a box, then they'd really enjoy going through those, because they would be photos that I thought were worthy of printing out in the first place, so they don't have to do any editing. And secondly, they've got them there and there's no danger of them going anywhere. And I know people would say, well, if you have a fire, then you're going to lose them. Well, you're going to lose a hard drive in a fire anyway. I know that's what the cloud is for. So there's positives and negatives of all these different systems. But I think when you add them all up and weigh them all up, printing your photos out is probably the best way to preserve them and prolong them for future generations, certainly.
And is that something you would do, Nick? Maybe come the end of every year, just look back and think, right, I should probably print out a few that might mean something to my children when they find my shoebox.
I don't have any children, so I don't have that concern.
Hypothetical.
Well, not any that you know about, Nick.
Well,
There was. I did pass someone the other day who looked incredibly like you. So I did wonder.
Poor them. No, I probably would, yeah. I mean, I do print my own photographs now and again. So, yeah, and it's nice to have that physical thing from that point of view. So, yeah, it does make sense, yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, moving on to our second story, Nick, which is one of you've got. Now, we've been doing trips quite a lot recently, and sometimes we find that people we go with don't always like to walk too far to their location. This next story is quite an interesting one. What is it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's actually recently just been made public, but it was actually in 2017, a team of apprentices at Porsche, I think I've said that right, have turned a 718 Boxer S, means nothing to me really.
It's a shiny car.
Yeah, a sports car, into a car that can be used for photography at their experience centre in Leipzig, Germany. Now, Porsche have used cars for this purpose for some time now. However, in the article that I read, it said that their older cars used for this couldn't keep up with the newer, faster cars. So the team of apprentices came up with the idea to build a car specifically for this purpose based on the 718 Boxer S. Now, in the article that I read, the first photograph you see, you've got, I think it's a guy sitting in the trunk of the car, which is actually at the front of the car, because obviously these sports cars, the engines are at the back. And it looks like they've just removed the bonnet and just someone sitting in the luggage compartment. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But when you delve a bit deeper into it, they've put, obviously for health and safety reasons, they've put a harness in there, they've put padding in there. And also it looks like they've got a very high roll cage because they've removed the roof of the car as well so that they can mount cameras in various positions around the car. They've also put some I think steel tubes around the car as well so they can mount cameras as well.
So is the idea, Nick, that this is for shooting other cars? You said it couldn't keep up with the newer cars.
Yeah, so it's at their experience centre. So I'm guessing that people go along for experience days in sports cars, but particularly Porsche in this instance.
So rather than standing at the side of the road with a long lens, practicing your panning and all the rest of it, you can actually stuff yourself into the front of a sports car, safely harnessed in, and chase one around or go in front of it and shoot that way.
Yeah, or be the driver and have someone photograph you.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've done previously in the past, but because most cars, it's more convenient to sit in the back and shoot backwards. You're always photographing the other car from the front. So what this does is it allows you, I guess, to shoot another car from behind it, looking forward. Which, unless you were going to reverse, a normal car really, really quickly, would be kind of quite difficult. But there's not a lot of health and safety going on here, is there, Nick?
Well, the guy's got a helmet on.
Yeah,
he's got a harness. He's got a harness, but if this car had an accident, it went into a wall,
yeah,
it's not going to do much.
But the fact that you've already said that they've had to build this car because older ones couldn't keep up means it's going to be going fast.
Exactly.
And this guy's basically just sitting in is essentially a big bucket.
Yeah.
With a helmet on, and I'm presumably he's tethered as well so that he can't fall out. But even so, like you say, if that car crashes into something else, it's I don't think we're certainly gonna ruin his day.
I quite like the idea of something like this when we do trips and workshops and so forth. People sometimes don't like getting out of the car, or they just want to kind of get a snapshot of the windows in the way. We could something like that on the Sky Roads, maybe a kind of a quad version.
The problem is, Ruth, there's only one person per car, so we'd have to have a fleet of Porsches being driven around by a large team or a large crew. And we'd just line everybody up so they can take the shot from the roadside.
It would certainly make for a unique experience, stand out from the crowd. But anyway, it's an interesting one. If you want to see the pictures, do check it out online. There are links as usual in the show notes, so have a wee look at those when you get a chance. Story number 3, Marcus, is one that I wasn't sure if this was serious or not serious, but I think it's a serious one. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, it is serious, but we'll look at how serious it is in a minute. It's a camera system which can focus on everything at the same time. So researchers at the University of Pennsylvania have developed a camera with a specialised lens that can focus individual pixels to different depths, ensuring that everything in a photo is perfectly sharp all at the same time. Now, as we've discussed on many shows before, when we've talked about people focus stacking and what have you, there's a lot of emphasis that people put on having everything sharp when often it's not required anyway. So we'll bear that in the back of our minds. But I think the purpose for this camera, when you see a picture of it, it's got lots of different lenses, all at right angles with beam splitters between them. It's not something that you're going to be setting up yourself to take a landscape shot with. I think it's probably designed for scientific purposes to, I don't know, maybe capture something that only happens in a very quick space of time where you can't focus stack it, and it needs to get a photo for scientific purposes, because outside of a lab I can't see that this is going to work. But anyway, I tried to read the article, Ruth, and it's based on something called spatially varying autofocus. And it mentions terms such as split Lohmann displays, cubic phase plates, and phase-only spatial light modulators. And at which point I just got all glassy-eyed, and I kind of lost the will to live, really.
Oh, makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think the fact that this is designed for engineers to use in a lab, they would be the only people who would understand it, really. I mean, it's an interesting thing to look at. I don't know if we're going to put the link up on the show notes for people to see.
Yeah.
But it's just a normal camera with a lens coming out as it would normally do. But then at the end of that lens, there's other lenses going off at right angles, with all these kind of mirrors and stuff between them. And it's just it's a bizarre thing. But as I understand it, and like I said, I did try my best to understand it, but it was a bit too intelligently worded for me to be able to make sense of it anyway. I think it has to take two photos. It has to take the first photo to analyse where all the different depths are, and then the second photo it takes with all the lenses focused at the varying things. That's the best I can describe it. I'm sorry, without going into split, modulators and Lohmann displays and all of that nonsense.
Is it something you think macro photographers would get excited about? The possibility of maybe it somehow being used in the future in technology, the way things quite often start in the science world?
Not when they see the diagram of what it... I mean, good luck setting that up, It's like, by the time you set that up, even if you were photographing a flower, the flower would have either grown out of your shot or it would have died through dehydration.
It is a fascinating one. Nick, have you had a chance to look at it? Did you make any sense of it at all?
I have just looked at it, and I can't even see where the end of the lens is. I'm guessing it's on the left-hand side of this photograph. So you've got the camera that goes straight out with at least one lens on it, but then horizontally again there's 1, 2, 3 lenses. Yep.
So, I have no idea, Nick, how it works. I tried to get my head around it, and I thought, here I am, a man of way higher than average intelligence, and I can't figure it out. So what chance have our average listener got, eh?
Because it's got a schematic that looks very similar to the feature we once did on Photography Online about depth of field with the snooker balls, and it reminds me just of that. But if it's beyond you, maybe there's somebody out there listening who can make sense of this. And again, show notes, check it out. There are charts, there are videos, there's imagery, there's schematics, there's color-coded everything. Feel free to have a look at it, and if you're smarter than the average Marcus, then maybe you can get back in touch and explain to us in layman's terms what exactly it's all about. But anyway, it's a fascinating one, so do have a look if you're interested. Now, one I think a lot of people will be interested in, and we've found the story, but obviously it's all over the internet in the photography world, and thanks as well to Julia, who sent an email in just pointing us towards it as well, is story number 4. Nick, tell us all about this.
Yeah, this one's a lot more understandable. It's Affinity, which is a software suite by Canva. It's aimed at graphic designers, illustrators, and photo editors. So I guess a bit like Adobe Photoshop, because you can process raw files in Photoshop as well. And so it's now become free. And with over 1 million people having signed up for it in the first 4 days of this happening, I mean, that's a huge, wow. That says a lot. Whether they'll keep using it, whether they'll actually replace their other software that they have used up until now is yet to be seen. But on the company's website, where I read the article from, they mentioned that several questions came up, and how is this possible? What's the catch? Because you never get anything for free, do we? And is my data safe? Which of course is understandable, as we rarely get things for free, without there being a catch. And Canva say that making Affinity free has been their intention since day one, that everyone should have access to great design tools no matter where they live and how much they can afford.
Affinity's been around for a while though, Nick, before this, hasn't it? And it's quite well respected, well known.
Yeah.
It's a proper competitor to some of the Adobe stuff that is out there.
I'll say I've never tried it myself until today. I've actually downloaded it, I had a quick look at it. Looks pretty good. I mean, I know there's some things missing that I would use for my raw file processing, but for someone that's coming into it, or like I say, graphic designers, illustrators, it's very powerful.
Do we know how it's funded? Because obviously, to develop any kind of program of that complexity requires a large team of people who are all, having to put food on their table and keep their lights on at home. So, is it done through donations?
No. So Canva, the main company, they develop AI software as well. So they've already got 28 million paying customers with $3.5 billion in annualized revenue.
They can afford it, basically.
Yeah, so that basically, they say that would allow them to keep investing in both their free Canva experience and the next generation of creative tools, including offering Affinity completely free, so they can continue to offer it for free. So when I install the software, you can see like there's a AI button on it. So you go on AI, but then that asks you, you have to basically subscribe to one of their premium packages to get the AI side of it.
Okay, well that's not a bad thing.
Well, exactly.
As a user of, as a reluctant user of Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop, if I could turn off the AI, I would, because I hate it.
Yeah.
I use the word reluctant because I don't want to pay for things that I don't use. So the fact that you can opt out of that stuff, I think, is a major selling point.
Yeah, I mean, only just yesterday, my Adobe plan came up for renewal. So my plan was going to double in price from £30 a month to £60 a month. And basically, my plan ended yesterday. So I was out with a workshop customer during the day. So when I got home, what I was going to do was go on and actually cancel my subscription. Because I couldn't, I can't afford to pay double the price. But they'd already put me on a new plan. And if I tried to cancel, I would be I'd actually be having to pay an early cancellation fee of something like 300 and something pounds. So I went online, chatting with someone, and, they basically started, bartering with me in a way. We can offer you this. And one of the options was this amount plus, I think it was Acrobat AI for an extra £3 a month. So, well, I don't want that. Exactly, I don't want that part. So, now I'm paying an extra £12 a month. But they're trying to sell me something with AI, which, as Marcus just said, I don't want.
It's like they're trying to make people go over to Affinity or to other software companies that are free because there's options now.
Yeah. No, I mean, Adobe are notoriously difficult to leave. And if you try and cancel, there's a million reasons why you can't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because I use Photoshop, I use Premiere Pro for photography online and for my own videos. I use After Effects for photography online. I've used Illustrator photography online. So I need to have the whole suite, basically. I can't just, say I want this, and this. You have to go for the all apps plan. Yeah,
so I think the only way to leave, Nick, is to die.
Well, I don't plan to do that anytime soon.
So you're stuck, I'm afraid, with Adobe for another, at least another year.
Now, also talking about Adobe, whilst we're on the Adobe thing, they use the AI features, and I believe they're actually collecting your data when you use it. Am I right in saying that, Marcus?
I'm sure they do, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the questions that came up with the Affinity is, is my data safe? And basically, Affinity say that, Canva say that, your work is stored locally on your device, and Canva doesn't use any of your Affinity content to train or develop AI features. Now, when I installed the software and started running it, it actually gave me the option of giving them my data. So, you can opt out of that. You can say, yes, you can use my data to make your software better, I guess. Or you can say, no, thank you. I don't want you touching my data. So at least they're giving you the option, whereas Adobe just just do it and put it in the small print.
I mean, the last thing we want is AI learning landscape photography from your images, because that will be going backwards.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Yeah.
I was just going to agree with you until you said that last bit.
Should have known better than that, Nick. Let him finish his insult first. But yeah, no, affinity, if you're interested in that, and again, I know a lot of you do use that from conversations that we've had on workshops, on our live show, various things. So if it's of interest to you, have a wee look again in the show notes. You can get more information on there, or if you think you're about to be stung again by Adobe, just check when your end date is, like Nick didn't do, and see what the get out clause is in that. Our final story, though, in the news is we've kind of had a bit of a theme going on the last couple of months, I think, with regard to album covers. We also were talking about this on our live show for our Photography Online official supporters recently. In fact, it's actually linked to this story because this one that we're about to mention, which Marcus will talk about in a second, someone suggested recreating it and featuring Nick. I don't know if you remember this, Nick, a few nights ago we did our live show.
I've no idea what they said me, because obviously David Bowie had a lot more hair than I do.
We can rate that, AI or a wig. In fact, Marcus has got a wig somewhere. So anyway, Marcus, tell us about this story. What's it all about?
Yeah, so it's David Bowie's album cover photo has become the most expensive sold at auction. And like you say, Ruth, we've been discussing the lost kind of art of album cover photography, which was a great shame because back in the 1980s and 1990s, some of the most memorable photos that you saw were on album covers, and they used to spend a lot of money, big budgets, and hire big photographers with big ideas to take some of these shots. But this particular photo is from David Bowie's 1973 Aladdin Sane album, which I am embarrassed to say that I'm not familiar with. I'm familiar with the cover, but I'm not familiar with the actual album because I was never a big Bowie fan, but the older I get, the more I appreciate his genius. I don't know about you guys. Are you Bowie fans?
No.
I mean, I don't even know if it's Bowie or Bowie. I mean, that's how much.
Well, we'll get James or Harry to ask them that question when they come in for the quiz. But yeah. I was just looking at this. How much has it gone for, Marcus?
So it's just shy of $500,000. Wow. Is what it was sold for. But this begs the question, I don't know the answer to this, but the person who's bought it, do they now own the rights to that photo, or have they just bought a one-off limited edition print of it?
I can't imagine they'd own the rights. Surely not.
Well, I don't know.
There must be so many posters out there and merchandise.
Why would you buy a photo for $500,000 if someone else can reproduce it as many times as they want to without you gaining anything? It doesn't seem right, does it?
I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah. But anyway, for those of you who aren't familiar with the photo, I shall audibly visualize it for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Audibly visualize? Well, it can. Yeah, it can become a thing. Yeah, okay. Go for it.
So it was a kind of head and shoulders portrait of David Bowie. And he had a heavy eye makeup on, and he's got a kind of red and blue lightning bolt coming down over his eye.
The original Harry Potter look, yeah.
Yeah, and when you see the actual album cover, there's also supposedly a pool of tears in one of his clavicles, and that was actually painted on afterwards by an artist. And when you know that, it becomes really obvious that that's not part of the photo. So this is a photo that was taken on Kodak film, obviously back in the 1970s, way before there was any digital manipulation. So everything had to be done by hand. So the tears in the clavicle were
clavicle.
Actually, is it clavicle?
Yes, yeah. But carry on.
Yeah, the tears in the clavicle have actually been painted on by an artist. And like I say, that as good as it is, you can tell that it's not part of the genuine photo, but only once you know that. Otherwise, you'd never in a million years notice it. But I just thought it was an interesting fact.
So is it something you'd hang on your wall, Marcus, a bit of album art? Obviously you're not familiar with the album itself, but this style of album art, it's not kind of the usual thing you would see.
It would have to mean something to me, Ruth, as well as be a visually
iconic,
striking photo. Yeah, it has, and because I'm not, like I said, I was never a massive David Bowie fan, although I have got to appreciate him more and more so over recent years. I mean, if there are any David Bowie fans listening to this, and I'm sure there will be, go and look up the live version of Comfortably Numb, which he does with Dave Gilmour, because it's absolutely fantastic. And you'll find it on YouTube. So if you just type in Comfortably Numb, Dave Gilmour, David Bowie, it will come up. And if you're familiar with the song, which most people are, you know, the classic Pink Floyd song, it jars to start with, because David Bowie, he sings the harmony line. So he doesn't sing the main melody line, he just sings the harmony line all the way through it. So it's jarring to start with, because your brain's wanting to listen to the melody and it doesn't come out. But it's just pure genius. It really is. So just a little tip there for any David Bowie fans.
So talking of fans, I mean, was it? Do you know if it was actually, a fan of David Bowie's that's purchased this, or?
No, there was no information about who it was. It was an anonymous buyer.
Right, I mean, because obviously, it is it's, like I say, it's almost £500,000. But if it's such a big Bowie fan, it means a lot to them.
Yes.
To want to pay that much money.
But, I mean, part of the sale was the original contact sheets. So surely, if you have the contact sheets, you've got the permission also to.
Yeah, but how many times has that been scanned? There must be so many digital versions of that around now.
Yeah, but then you can say, look, I've got the original contacts, I've made a print from it, it's going to be worth so much more a print from the originals than a scan and a print. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know, but there is information. If you're a Bowie fan, we'll find out shortly.
And interestingly enough, Ruth, if he's got the original transparency or negative, as you say, the way to ensure the value of that photo, the best thing you can do is destroy the negative.
Yeah. Although I've just realised it's contact sheets and not actually the negatives, so it could just be that it's not that.
So £500,000, you don't even get the negative. I mean, what a rip-off.
Negative. I'm sure there's more behind this than we know of. Have to do some more research. You can get that story, though, and all the other ones we've just been discussing in our show notes section. Have a wee look at that on whatever platform you are listening on. But we are going to move on.
The Photography Online Podcast Quiz.
All right, it is time for the Photography Online podcast quiz, and we are very happy to have into the studio Harry, and who's not switched his mic on, but he can do that in a second, and James as well.
I'm turned on, Ruth. I'm turned on and ready to go.
Well, I didn't get any sort of fancy intro, like where's my, here's the guy that takes the best pictures intro.
That's true. That is true. We've run out, basically, to be perfectly honest, and we were kind of bottom of the bucket for the ones that Nick and Marcus had. But here is Harry. He is fresh back from doing. In fact, you are actually fresh back, literally.
I arrived 2 hours ago through the snow. And after dropping my last day of guiding down in Scotland for.
Well, just end the conversation there. The sentence, full stop, Harry. Last ever guide.
So anyway, thrilled. We thought we'd get all four of the guys in for the final quiz. James as well. James, are you happy to be here?
Do you know what? I've been riveted. I've been listening in, Ruth. I think it's Bowie, but I have to agree with Marcus about Comfortably Numb, by the way. Also fantastic. I mean, it's worth finding Bowie and Pink Floyd version. It's one of my favourite ever songs. But on the album cover thing, I just staring at Nick's beautiful visage there, I had another idea. And that is, we should recreate, because we've talked about it on the podcast as well, so it ties in very nicely, the Nirvana baby, because Nick's got the look.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the money, James.
But he's got the perfect look. I mean, he would be ideal for that.
I don't want to know how you know he has the perfect look.
What, little hairless body?
All right. Okay, I knew it was a bad idea.
Okay, so round one, Ruth. Round one.
Yes, exactly. For those of you who perhaps are new to the podcast, welcome to the Photography Line podcast quiz. We call it the Pop Quiz. Harry and James, as I've said, are in with us. Usually we just got the couple of guys, but we thought, seeing it's the last one of the year, that would get everybody in. And 5 rounds, each one worth a point for the correct or closest answer. In the event of a tie, everyone receives a point. I'm going to get my paper out in advance because I can see this already getting slightly complicated. But anyway, no prize at the end of this except for my slight admiration. But we're going to move on with round one.
Round one. Multiple choice.
All right, guys, I will say at this stage, because there's 4 of you, please, if you've got a bit of paper or a notepad or a phone or something... okay, James has got something. Yeah,
I will
free.
Text you my answers,
Phone,
Ruth.
no
How about that?
Okay, that works too, I think. various other things for me to look at. Yeah, let me get that ready. Just because I can see by the time I've worked my way through to number 4. Not that you're not all very, very honest people, but we just need to make it as... There we go.
Some
Marcus
of us
has got something. He's analog. Marcus has gone analog. Excellent. All right, well, here we go. Round 1 is multiple choice. I'm going to ask a question which is fairly difficult. So to help you out, there are 4 possible answers. I need you to tell me which one you think is correct. Here's the question. What is the world's oldest consumer photography magazine, which is still in print? Is it A, Professional Photographer magazine, which is a US magazine? Is it B, the British Journal of Photography, C, Practical Photography, or D, Amateur Photographer? A, B, C, or D. 3 of those are UK based. One's a US based.
So C and D are UK based. Yeah.
C and D are UK based. A is a US one. B is British Journal of Photography. So work that out. Yeah. A,
I've
B,
got my
C,
answer.
or D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which way around was it? What was C and D? Can you remind me?
Oh, for goodness sake.
Practical photography is C. Amateur photographer is D. Y'all got something?
Yeah.
Yes, Nick. It's
Yep,
taken
yep,
a while,
yep,
right?
something,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. There we go.
I'd be very interested to know if people still read the BJP, the British Journal of Photography, by the way. Because
Okay.
it was
You
the
obviously
absolute
do not,
Bible.
yeah.
No, I haven't for a long time, but
Okay.
yeah, it was a Bible.
All right. Well, it's a Bible or was a Bible. Let's move on.
Round 2. Name the year.
Okay, in this round, the answer to the question is a year. The round goes to whoever gets the closest answer. If either of you, all of you, any of you even, gives me the exact year, you'll get a bonus point. Here's the question. What year was the first... I paused because I just thought... I got a funny feeling one of you sent me this question, which is not a good start. What year was the first full-frame mirrorless camera released?
I didn't send you that because I don't know.
I sent you this question and I can't remember the answer. Oh, crap.
Did you?
Oh, come on. I think Harry should be disqualified.
Yeah, no, Harry's disqualified.
No, he can't remember.
Yeah, no, well, he's just saying that. He'll just come in.
Nick was with me. We were driving to Italy.
Yeah.
And I asked Nick this question, but
Right, they're both disqualified. Don't you reckon, Marcus?
I honestly can't remember what Harry said. So.
I think me and James should just automatically get the point for not being
correct.
part of the original conversation.
So I think it was actually before I bought my first digital camera, which was a crop sensor.
Right,
I know
so
when that
just to
was.
clarify, there's no tricks going on here. It's not mirrorless or anything. It's just full frame digital camera.
No, I said first full-frame mirrorless
Oh,
camera.
mirrorless. Okay, right.
Yes,
That
yes.
changes everything then.
Oh, mirrorless. Oh.
Yes. First full-frame mirrorless. Harry, thank you for sending me your answer to something, which I'll have to have a look at in a little minute.
Yeah, okay. That won't be very long ago.
Yeah. So that was another riveting conversation between Harry and Nick driving along somewhere.
well, 3 days of driving.
Yeah, don't you wish you were with them, James?
God, dear. I mean, it's bad enough sitting with you talking about, Prince and goodness knows what to do with music. But that first frame mirrorless camera. Oh, I tell you what, we'll send it to Ruth.
That was probably as deep as our conversations went.
Yeah.
Right, well, you can explain your workings after you all got something. No.
I've written a year, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got something, and I know we all know which manufacturer it would have been. So yeah,
I've gone way too early, I think. But anyway,
Right. Okay. Nick is the holdout. All right. Well, you've all got something, so let's move on.
Round 3. Artificial intelligence.
The round everybody loves. Okay, I'm asking ChatGPT to describe a photographic object, person, or practice without mentioning the name of the subject. What did I ask it to talk about? Here we go.
The night is a canvas and the eye sees only fleeting motion, but when the shutter lingers, the camera captures the choreography of light itself, weaving ephemeral lines and shapes into a single, surreal image. What photographic trick turns movement into art?
So what's the question? What photographic trick?
It's a photographic technique.
I see.
yeah, I think I've got something.
Yeah.
Harry, you've sent me 2. You can't send me 2. You need to send me 1.
He's such a little weasel.
Well, no, it's the same.
Unbelievable.
But no.
Oh, it's part of the same thing. Fine,
yeah, it's
fine,
part
fine,
of the
fine.
same.
Yes,
part
I
of the
get
same
it.
thing. I'm
Okay, I
just
get it.
bracketing
Expanding
my answer.
on your bracketing your answer. Such a photographer.
Qualifying it.
Well, no, bracketing works. I could use that.
That's how Harry gets his exposures right all the time.
Yeah.
You all got something?
Yep.
Not sure Marcus does.
Well, no, I'm still applying my my technique, Ruth, of being very unconfident.
Your flawless logic.
No, humility. Come on, humility was the technique, not unconfidence, and they're not the same thing.
Well, I've definitely got this one wrong. That's all I'm saying.
That's not humility. Okay, right. We're going for unconfidence, which is not a word. Okay, I'll got something though. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Round 4. Take a wild guess.
Alrighty, as the name suggests, this round requires an answer which could be almost anything, so you are unlikely to get it exact. Take a wild guess. As with round 2, the point goes to whomever gets the closest to the answer, and although unlikely if you get it exact, there are 2 bonus points. Here's the question. How many exposures did the first roll of consumer film, which was Kodak No. 1 from 1888, hold?
Wow, 1888.
Are we allowed to know what size that film was?
Not allowed any more information than that.
That's because Ruth doesn't have it, I would imagine.
I could have chosen, but
No,
that's
I mean,
the
I can guess, but
What year was it?
It was 1888.
1888, unbelievably.
First roll of consumer film. How many exposures did it hold?
Okay.
Harry's in some sort of pain over there.
He's Googling. Is he Googling?
No,
he's
I'm
not. He's
texting
texting
you,
me.
look.
Although that's quite a good trick to just say I'm texting you.
Yeah.
Right, I've got a number.
He's sent something. Okay.
I've taken
Yeah.
a wild guess.
That's all we can ask, Nicholas. James, you good?
Yes, I've written down a number.
Okay.
Round 5. Where in the world?
All right, well, this final round, as much geography as photography, the location is typically a well-known hotspot for photography. So here is the description. Photographs of this park from the 1860s helped spur the US conservation movement. It's home to America's highest waterfall. Also features the world's largest solid block of granite and is considered the birthplace of rock climbing as a sport. The park name translates to killer in the native language.
I know it.
Didn't even let you finish the question before I
Yeah, I think I
texted
know
my
that as
answer.
well.
Okay. There were so many clues I could have used, but didn't.
Yeah, that's a little bit easy, that one.
Yeah, okay, obviously all got something. Look at them. They're all just like, get on with it.
But
Okay,
and we're
so
all wrong
let's...
somehow.
Hopefully. That's always my joy. All right, well, let's go back over them. So I've got Harry's answers here. Yes, I do in front of me. You guys are going to need to hold up bits of paper or whatever you've chosen to write on for these, just so you don't say things. I can't see yours, James.
I haven't turned it round yet. I don't want to give
right,
anything
you're ready.
away.
Okay, fair.
I'm not giving anything
right, okay.
away.
All right, round 1 was multiple choice. The world's oldest consumer photography magazine, A, B, C, or D. And what did you guys have? I can see Marcus's.
D.
Right. James has also got D. Harry has got D. And
Don't think you
Nick
can see
has
mine,
got,
can you?
I can't see
Nick's
yours,
got like
Nick.
3 centimetres.
Oh, it's the wrong one.
Language. You haven't got a beep machine.
Is that his
Nick.
morning measurements?
Other way.
C.
Nick.
C.
Okay, that just take it as C.
C, practical photography.
Practical photography. So the answer is D, amateur photographer, 1884. The British Journal of Photography has been around since 1854, but wasn't sold to the masses. Professional Photographer magazine, 1907. And Practical Photography, 1959. So
That's still old though. I thought
some pretty
practical
old
photography was
magazines.
more recent than that.
I believe,
Yes,
Ruth.
Marcus.
I
Yes,
believe, Ruth, that
Marcus.
practical photography is no longer in print. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's still in print.
Do you mean print or in publication? Because some of these are digital only now, aren't they?
I think it's just
It's,
a transition
I
to
meant
digital.
publication as opposed to necessarily the magazine itself, but it's still around as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
But even so, you got the answer correct. So commiserations to Nick. This is going to be multiple points on this one, I think. Anyway, round 2 was name the year. What year was the first full-frame mirrorless camera released? And let's go for whatever you've got. Hold them up to me, please.
I'll give you mine first, since you can't read it. 2010.
Nick had 2010.
I'm in the right ballpark.
Marcus 2015.
2012.
James
2012.
had 2012. And this is going to cause some consternation, obviously, because Harry had the correct answer. This is kind of my fault because I
that means we were
I
all
didn't
wrong.
plan having you all in until had already chosen the questions.
Nobody gets a point that round. Then I
would say nil point.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fair.
I'm still right. So.
What was the answer? You haven't said what the answer was.
2013.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2013. 2013. So nil point.
I thought James would have been right because I thought that's an Olympic year, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I just picked 2012 because it rolled off the tongue. That's why.
Oh.
I have no idea whatsoever, Nick. Not a clue.
Only a year off, to be fair.
So I should get the point.
7.
Let's just be clear
you should,
about
but
this.
You're not going to. So you'll know that. Anyway, Leica was the next one. They were 2015, Nikon 2018, and Canon also 2018, but not until after Nikon. So Sony leading the way for a few years with the mirrorless revolution. Round 3 was artificial intelligence. I was asking ChatGPT to describe something, and I have got an answer from Harry. Rest of you, please hold up your various bits of paper or whatever
ICM.
you've got. Okay, Nick's got ICM.
I've got painting with light.
Okay, and Marcus has got that also. Harry has got Star Trails, which is a good guess. But James and Marcus are correct. It was light painting.
Oh!
Look at the pair of them. This is hilarious.
It's like monkeys hooting.
I know. That was so funny.
Oh, I'll pass you a peanut.
That's pure delight on the face of James, particularly. All right, round 4 was take a wild guess, and the question was something that I've put down. How many exposures did the first roll of consumer film hold? And that was Kodak's first roll of film. Harry sent me one, so let me just write this down. James?
16.
16 for James. Nick's got 4. Nick's got 4.
Fine.
Marcus has got 50.
50?
And I put 85.
85?
Well, because it wouldn't have been 30. It would have been small film, wouldn't it? Like 16 mil. Because 35 mil wasn't around.
Yeah, that's why me and Harry, I think, are going to be closer than you guys, because I think it's a higher number.
I think they would have been.
It was going to be closer than me.
It would have been like a random length, and they would have just done like a big spool of film, not something really small. Like, so you've got to go at least double your 36
If
shots.
you can't get a random length of film into a cartridge, it only goes to a certain size.
No, but it wouldn't have been full frame, would it? It wouldn't have been 35 millimetre.
It would have been 16 mil, and it would have been like a weird, like, I don't know, just not standard,
but it's still the same. Anyway, let's find out rather than debate the most boring of topics.
I mean, carry on by all means. And also slightly disappointed because we actually talked about this last month and Harry and James were both on that podcast. So a bit disappointed, lads.
Don't remember that at all.
Yes. Yes, it was 100, and I did mention this last month. The whole camera, remember, would get shipped back to Kodak for development and respooling with fresh film. The next roll of film they designed was for the Brownie. It only held 6 to 12, so Nick, I understand where you're coming from with that, but this one was 100.
So nobody gets any points. Move on.
No, I get it.
No, it's closest to, so Harry gets that. So, yeah, no, Harry gets that for sure. Well done, Harry, for your wild guess and also for not listening back to the podcast.
I was going to listen to it today on the way back from Glasgow, and I should have done, yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Round 5, where in the world? And you're all pretty confident of this one, so you can just tell me if you're so confident.
Yosemite.
Yeah,
that's what I've got.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, you all got that. It was originally named, just some trivia for you, for a rebel tribe that was driven out of the area. Do you know who the first person to shoot the park with a camera was? Anyone?
Well, Ansel Adams, I have no idea.
The obvious is Ansel Adams, but it's clearly not him.
Yeah. Don't know.
No, it's clearly not him. It was a guy called Carlton Watkins back in the 1860s, I think. Wow. And he was the one who actually put that on the map. He used what's called the mammoth plate camera, which maybe Marcus has heard of, which, along with the necessary plates, chemicals and processing equipment, required a 12-mule train for transport through the difficult terrain to make that happen. So Carlton Watkins...
12 mules?
12 mules.
Yeah, it's a bit like Ruth's hair and makeup department.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, that's the makeup trailer alone is a 10-muler.
Anyway, on that, so congrats to all of you. And no, Ansel was well past Mr. Watkins. And to you, yeah, there's a lot of information.
So who's won, Ruth? Stuff. Who gets the prize?
I'm just totting up totals. So let me see. For today, Harry has got 3. James has got 3 also. Marcus has got 3, seriously. Nick, no worries. You've only got 1 there. But let me just add it in. let me just add these. This is going to get complicated. So 3, 3, 3, and 1. So there's no clear winner today. So I'm going to just say that you've joined. You've all got the same. So let me just tot up the year's scores. 1, 2, 3. So 4 out of 5 for Harry wins, which is pretty good, Harry.
Oh,
over the year.
That.
That's 80%, Ruth.
Yeah.
That is 80%. 1 out of 3, Nick.
That's 33%.
Only one out
So
of three.
33%. Thanks, Marcus. I'm assuming you're right on this. We have got 2 out of 7 for Marcus.
All 2 out of 7.
Yeah, come on then.
That's about 35%.
Are you sure?
I
don't think that's not
said it's
correct.
about
There's no
right.
way. No, that's about a third.
It's
Listen,
28%.
28%.
I said about 28, 35.
Yeah, but you got to watch. Nick's got 33, so
Yeah,
you know.
conveniently more than Nick.
So, and James has got 6 out of 7,
Oh,
No.
which is what Marcus or
85.
Harry.
It's higher than 80%.
yeah.
Go on, one of you, just give us the stats.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
it's
it's
about
85%.
83.
85%, yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, congratulations to James.
Well done, James.
Why is it only Nick applauding? Oh, thank you.
There we go.
That's better.
There we go.
I would just like to thank everybody, especially me mum.
He looks proper happy. In third place, that's first. So in second place, we have got Harry. Congratulations, Harry, for that. We have got in third place Nick, and in fourth place Marcus.
That's all that matters.
But you know, the last two he's won, and this is a new attitude. Yes,
But he has learnt to walk upright this year, so I think we should give him some congratulations for that. And the knuckles aren't dragging along the ground quite as much as they were earlier. So well done, Marcus. You've done very, very well.
Thank you.
Yes, well done, Marcus. And to everyone else who has been playing along, do let us know how you get on, if you managed to do better or worse. Maybe you've been keeping a tally over the year. I doubt it, but let us know what score you got. If you want to submit any questions, as we always say, do let us know. We're going to carry this on into next year. We're maybe going to change up some of the rounds, but please do send them in. podcast@mc2photography.com. Please do not use the comments section for obvious reasons. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming in for the quiz. Harry and James giving up a good half an hour of your afternoon.
Is it kicking out time for the young Harold and myself? Right, Harry, come on.
Feel free to. You can go back into the green room, watch us on the screen,
No, we're
enjoy
going
the
down the
rest
pub.
of the nibbles.
Should we go down the pub, Harry?
There's no booze in the green room at all. I've had to drink the hand sanitizer.
No canapes, nothing. Never mind. We're off to the pub. Thank you, Ruth.
All right, thanks, guys.
The Photography Online podcast in partnership with King Joy Tripods.
Well, regular listeners will know that all of our shows for this year have been made possible by King Joy Tripods. We are very lucky to have a brand that we use ourselves backing the show. And as you can hopefully appreciate, making any form of content costs time and money, so it wouldn't be practical without somebody like King Joy paying the bills to keep the studio lights on. The good news is that they have agreed to continue supporting us for another year, so you can look forward to plenty more content in 2026. Now, we have been using and supplying King Joy tripods for almost 10 years now, and as the first tripods we sold are now getting on a little bit, the after-sales care is being called upon a little bit more often. Now, Marcus, you're the one that's mostly in charge of this stuff, speaking to people when they get back in touch with you. What is it that you're finding people are needing to maintain their tripods?
Yeah, so obviously, it doesn't matter how good a tripod is, if it's used, well enough and extensively enough, things are going to eventually break on it. So I'd say the most common thing that we find is people getting in touch saying that they've lost a spike. So if you don't do them up tightly enough, certainly tighter than hand tight, when you're walking along, they can work themselves loose, and then you go to set up your tripod and you realise that you've only got 2 out of 3 spikes. So we're always replacing those. Another thing that tends to break after a while is there's a plastic collar inside the twist locks, and that's got a usable life on it. And when you've loosened and tightened that twist lock maybe 1,000 times, each time you do it, that plastic has to expand and contract, and after a while it will it will fail. And only now, after 10 years, we're getting people that have said, look, can I have a replacement part? And we just send them to it. We don't charge them for it. We just send them the replacement part. But what we started doing now that we've realised that is a potential problem is that we include spare parts with all new tripod sales. So if you buy a new tripod now, you'll get all of those replacement parts. So in 10 years' time, when and if it does fail, you don't have to contact us. You've already got the part that you need. Obviously, damage from accidents. People drop their tripods, they get blown over in the wind, and they hit a rock. So always repairing stuff like that. But the attitude from King Joy is that if you buy one of their professional tripods, it should be with you for life. So that's what we're trying to maintain ourselves, and any problems that we have, we just fix them. So obviously, if you damage your tripod and you need a new leg, then we have to charge you for that. But if it's something that's failed, even if it's 10 years later, it just gets replaced, no questions asked. So you can buy with confidence. That's all we need to say.
Okay, fantastic. Well, if you want to see what's available in the Kingjoy professional lineup, do check out the Photography Online shop if you are here in the UK, or head on over to kingjoy.com for international sales, or to find out your nearest dealer.
Listeners from an unlikely location.
All right, well, just this month we found out, this is quite exciting, that the Photography Online podcast is officially in the top 2% of all podcasts globally. So thank you for getting us this far. It would be great, though, just because we're being a bit greedy, to get into the top 1%. That's our aim for next year, possibly. So do please continue to spread the word, let other people know what we're all about. And talking of global listeners, we want to say hello to some of them who are joining us from unexpected parts of the world. We've done quite a few unexpected parts of the world, but they keep popping up. Someone listening last month in Kuwait, which is cool. Merhaban, I believe, is how you do that. I've done that before. Is that Arabic? I think James should be here for this. James, he's left out anyway.
It sounds Arabic, yeah.
It sounds Arabic. I'm sure I've said it before for a different country, but Marhaban to you in Kuwait. Armenia, though, got to mention Armenia. They are our highest climber this month. 22 listeners over in Armenia. Barev, which is a nice simple one. Thank you, Armenia. Barev to you if you're one of the 22 listening over in Armenia. Now, if you've been listening for any period of time, certainly this year, you'll know that we've been doing our USA state-by-state listener stats, trying to get our clean sweep, I think, and it's a good time of year for it. I think it's time to end the listener stats by the state, because the only one still not showing on our system as having someone listening is Montana, but we know that's not the case because Bob got in touch. Bob left us a comment saying he listens every month and has done for a while. So I think we can now say we have a clean sweep of the USA. But wherever you're listening from, always so glad to have you. Do get in touch. Marcus wants to say something. Yes,
no,
Marcus.
I'm going to say, assuming Bob's in Montana then, because she didn't actually mention that.
Bob's the name. Sorry, yes, I should say that.
Oh, you mean, Bob, I know Bob from Montana,
Bob, exactly,
yes.
Bob from Montana. So yes, Bob is listening in Montana, so we know our stats aren't entirely accurate, obviously. But yeah, get in touch. Tell us about yourself. Always interested in who's listening, where you're listening from. Podcast at mc2photography.com. You can, of course, leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening on. And thank you for last month's comments about the podcast. Charles Mason got in touch via email. This is regarding the story we did about the Pope's camera. I think I was asking the question, or I think I maybe assumed that it was digital, but it's not. It's a film camera, apparently, the Pope's white camera, which was up for auction. It's the Leica model that has no built-in meter, and he's just wondering if he had a white handheld meter to go with it. So, don't know, Charles. Could possibly have a wee look and find out. I don't know if that's... I think by the time this podcast goes out, that will actually have come to auction. Yeah. I did check recently, but I thought there's no point saying now what it's up to, because it's going to be out of date by the time it goes out, so you guys can have a look.
Yeah, the other thing about the Pope taking photos and talking about having a light meter and what have you, because he's always dressed in white, he's going to be a natural reflector. So
of course,
he's going to fill in those shadows.
Yeah, a portrait photographer, just natural, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Charles, for that. Dixon Lou got in touch. She left a comment. She said, "I was listening to the podcast on my way to visiting Petra." Now, we mentioned Petra, I think it was in the quiz a couple of months ago as our location, and I don't think anybody got that. And she says also, "Sorry, Marcus, Lichtmeister is better than lensman. And this, again, in reference to our conversation with Marcus and Chris Sale. We were trying to come up with another term for photographer because there was a story going around during that podcast about some disgruntled professional photographers who didn't like being called snappers. And we came up with lensman or lens person. That was the consensus eventually. But Lichtmeister does sound a lot better, so Dixon's suggesting that. RZ350 is the name of whomever put this comment in. Extremely happy that you started a podcast, which I've just noticed. I went back and listen to all the podcasts from the beginning. It's so uncommon to listen to a podcast that informs and entertains. Each person has their opinions. Yes, they do. And is able to express them in a manner which does not require expletives. So uncommon these days. Keep up the good work. I nearly had to pull out the beat machine earlier, RZ350. I think that was James. So we'll
no, it was Nick.
It was Nick. It was Nick.
Nick was the four-letter words were just rushing out of his mouth.
Apologies.
But it didn't quite get out. We only got 2 letters in, so I might be able to.
But on the subject of informing and entertaining, he does realise that the entertainment is purely by accident.
Oh, obviously. I think everyone's aware of that, yes. Information, however, we can do that well. But anyway, thank you for getting in touch. Always appreciate the feedback. Do keep it coming. Comment or email, as we said, podcast@mc2photography.com. All right, well, we're going to go into our final feature for the podcast. It is coming up to Christmas time, so let's see what fresh gear is coming up.
It may be new. It may even be exciting. But does the world really need it?
Alrighty, well, we do have a few items, and to be honest, I was scouring for some kind of Christmassy, stocking fillery, maybe more novelty type items to mix into this, and I don't know if people are just tired of doing it or too early in the day. There hasn't been a huge amount out there that is more novelty sided. Anyway, we've got some good ones though. We've got a few items we want to talk about. Marcus has got the first one, and it's a brand that we've talked about before. And not always with the most confidence. But tell us about this, Marcus, because it is interesting.
Yeah, I think if this was in a stocking, Ruth, it would probably just go unnoticed and get lost at the bottom between the stitching. That's how small it is. But it's the SanDisk. They're calling it a plug and play. It's a 1 terabyte solid state drive. Mm-hmm. So when you see it, I've seen a picture of it plugged into the side of a laptop. It's absolutely minute. And I was trying to think of something to liken it to, because obviously, to anybody listening to this, they're thinking, well, something plugged into the side of a laptop, that doesn't really describe how big it is. So I was trying to think of objects that are universal that I could compare this to, and I really struggled. So this is the best I've come up with so far.
Come on then.
It's about half the size of one of those 9-volt batteries. You know, the square ones that you put your tongue across the 2 tips to see if there's any life in it, and then you get a nasty shock.
I've never done that. Gee whiz. Right, okay.
Well, that's how you test a 9-volt battery. You put your tongue on it, and if you get a shock, you know that it's good, and if you don't get a shock, then you throw it in the bin.
Okay. Please don't do this at home. This is not advice. Disclaimer.
It's about half the size of one of those, or about a third. Here we go, being creative.
There we go.
About a third of the size of the average digital camera battery. How's that?
They're also different now. You can
I know they're also different.
Fuji X100
I'm
batteries,
trying my best
different.
here. I mean, I was thinking it's about the size of a grape, but a grape can be big and small. I mean, help me out here.
It's about half the size of an SD card.
Yeah, but an SD card is flat. This is 3-dimensional, so it's
okay.
It's kind of, you'd have to stack a few SD cards together, probably about 5 or 6 of them to get So yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? But anyway.
Okay, I'll tell you. It's 16 millimeters. There you go.
Okay, well, I've got the dimensions here. So it's 16 by 14 by 16. No, sorry, 18 by 14 by 16. It's just gained 2 millimeters. And it weighs a massive 3 grams. So,
which is comparable to how many grapes, Marcus?
Well, that's probably about the weight of a grape, I would say. Okay. So anyway, I think it's amazing, the technology that you can get a terabyte of memory in something that's so small. But obviously, its selling point is its size. However, personally, I think that's also its disadvantage, because the smaller something is, the easier it is to lose. And when you get beyond a certain point, this is the kind of thing that you could put in your pocket and not know it was there.
Straight through the washing machine.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got a USB-C connector on it. So you just basically plug it into any device. It's compatible with Mac OS and Windows. and it's not the fastest thing in the world because obviously they've tried to make this small and light. So it has to, sacrifices or compromises have to be made somewhere. It's a maximum transfer speed of 400 megabits per second, which sounds quite a lot until you start doing video editing. You wouldn't be able to use this as a working drive if you were trying to edit video, for example. But for storing photos, then it would be fine. But my suggestion on that is, why do you need a terabyte to store, a mobile terabyte to store photos? If you're going on a trip and you're having a terabyte of photos, then you need to go and have a long, hard chat with yourself about how many photos you're taking.
Do you think part of it's maybe designed to stay on the laptop because the size of it is actually kind of flush when it's closed?
Yeah, but it's got kind of like catch it on the zip as you put it into a bag written all over it, isn't it? So it's going to just get ripped off and then fall on the floor because it's so light, 3 grams. You're not going to hear it hit the floor.
Till you step on it.
And then you step on it or walk out and just leave it there. And then, I just think that as positive as it is, being so small, and yes, well done, you've demonstrated that you can get a terabyte of memory on something so small. Congratulations. But I don't think it's actually that useful. Personally, I'd prefer something about 5 times the size, 5 times the weight, that you knew was in a pocket somewhere. And was maybe a bit faster and more stable as well.
I just don't see the point in it. As Mark has said, that they've just proved a point that they can do it. I've got I think I've got a 4 terabyte SSD drive, which obviously has a USB-C cable, a Thunderbolt cable, but it's smaller than my iPhone 13 Pro Max, so it's not that big anyway. And I know where it is. I know where it is in my pocket, whereas as been demonstrated already, you put it in your pocket, you wouldn't know it's there. No.
This has come full circle, Ruth, because at the beginning of the show, we were talking about backing up your photos for safety. And if you were to back them up onto this, I don't think that they would be safe at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Do you think the reason it's so brightly coloured is because they expect people to lose it?
What they should do is that, those Apple AirTags and other brands are available. They should make those into memory SSDs, and that way you couldn't lose it because you could always find it.
Hey, well, it's so small you could actually just get a bit of duct tape and stick it onto one. That's the way to do it. There we go. We could start making attachments and things. Yeah,
there we go. We've got next year's enterprise sorted out already.
Patent pending. Do we have a price on this? Anyone have a price on it? Is it going to be super pricey?
I couldn't find a price on it actually, but so I can't answer that question.
Okay, right. Well, Nick can have a wee look at that while I. In fact, no, you can't, Nick. Sorry, because you're on the next story. Or how fast are you at typing?
I'm actually typing away now. £24.99.
No.
Yep. Oh, this is actually no. This is a 256 gigabyte one. So they have actually, So they have actually been producing it for a little while, but the 1 terabyte one, it's not come up in my initial search.
Okay, interesting. In that case, Nick, you can lead us on to our second gear item, which is rather more substantial and perhaps rather more looked forward to.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
Probably not a stocking filler. It'd be a nice stocking filler for sure. It's the Canon EOS R6 Mark III. So I'll begin by answering the question, do I need it? And that's a no. I have the Canon EOS R6 Mark II. And for me, it doesn't have any features which would make me want to upgrade. And that's something that I always ask myself. Does this new camera have any features that I would need to make me want to upgrade? And no. So I'll run through some of the upgrade features, shall we say. It's got an increase in 8.1 megapixels from 24.4 to 32.5. The IBIS has increased a full half stop from 8 to 8.5.
Yeah, I'm rushing down the shops now to buy one.
The ISO range has increased from a maximum of 25,600 to 64,000. Do we need that? I don't know. So it's probably more aimed at maybe video shooters. Because of the increase in resolution, you go from 6K to 7K RAW. Some video shooters do like to shoot in RAW. And the Mark III now has C-Log 2 and 3, whereas the Mark II only has C-Log 3. So if you want to shoot in the log format, C-Log 2 is much better. I think it has more dynamic range than the C-Log 3. So that's a big thing for video shooters. And also, you can shoot in what's called open gate. Do either of you know what open gate is?
Is it the opposite of a closed gate?
No, not quite. So again, this is for video. So it actually records to the whole sensor, rather than just in the 16:9 ratio. So you can make. So basically, it gives you more capabilities for cropping after, shall we say? If you're shooting in different formats, for a portrait format for for your Instagram reels, for your TikTok and what have you, because it uses the whole sensor rather than just a 16:9 ratio. One of the potential maybe downsides, or maybe a downside, maybe an upside, is the Mark II has 2 SD card slots, whereas the Mark III now has the same as the R5 series. It has 1 SD card slot and 1 CF Express Type B slot. It needs this because of the upgrade in some of the video features and also the burst rates. So, some people don't like to have mix of card slots, but it needs it for the new features.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about that, Nick, is that, did you say CF Express?
Yes.
Yeah, the CF Express cards are a lot more expensive, aren't they, than SD cards?
Yeah, I mean, the price has come down a lot since I got my R5. I paid an extortionate amount for CF Express, which I don't actually use that much, to be honest with you. So it's kind of a waste of money for me at that point. But yeah, a lot more expensive, maybe 5-6 times more expensive than SD card equivalent, in you're talking size. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you've got the choice. But there are cameras on the market which only have CF Express, and when you buy them, you're then having to factor in the fact that you've got to buy another couple of cards on top of that, which can be substantial. It could be a few £100s. So
you probably if you're talking 2, you're probably talking close to £1,000, I think, maybe.
What?
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I say they have come down in price. I think my one cost about £500-600 when I got it. Yeah,
wow.
and it was a case of that. What?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what they want to do is just build a little USB port, USB-C port on the side of the camera, and you can plug one of those 1 terabyte SanDisk things in.
That is an idea. Actually, a kicker in this is the battery life. It's not as good as the Mark II.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot, actually. I remember talking about that when the Hasselblad X2D2 came out, and we were discussing the supposedly extra features that you get from over the Mark I, and the battery life of that had also diminished. So I guess that with all these new, extra half stops in IBIS and extra processing that's going on to achieve the high ISO settings, it's drawing more power. And talking of the Canon R6, I know you'd been comparing the Mark II to the Mark III. I've got the original R6, or I say I had the original R6 because one day it just stopped working, and I've sent it off to be repaired by a Canon authorized repair center, and they phoned me up and they are completely stuck with it. They said they just cannot get it to work. And this is a camera that it hasn't been dropped, it hasn't been damaged. It was used on a tripod one day and it was working fine. It was taken off the tripod, put on a shelf. The next day, just failed to turn on, just completely dead. And they've changed the motherboard on it. They've changed everything they can think of, and there's just zero life in it. So they said it's just come to the end of its life. I was like, but it's not an old camera.
Yeah, you've had it for 5-6 years.
Exactly, but to me that's not an old camera, No. And I know I bang on about film cameras, but I've got cameras, in my collection that are from the 1960s and they work fine, and my newest camera, which is the R6, looks like it's a complete write-off. It's £2,000 down the drain.
And it's actually the one that we rely on for a lot of the stuff we do for the show.
Well, yeah. I'm somewhere that's got to be replaced, but it won't be being replaced by an R6 Mark III.
And it can't be replaced by a film camera, so this is going to be interesting. We should make a feature out of this, how to come to the decision.
Maybe we should start shooting it all on movie film.
Oh, that would be fun.
On 8mm.
Do an entirely analogue, have a special screening just for the supporters,
we'll get everyone together in the local village hall and have a big projector.
Could just do a tour of village halls, photo clubs, and do that every month. I like the idea of that. Speaking, Nick, of I was just Googling while you were talking there about the one we just mentioned, the SanDisk. It's only $86.99 actually for the 1 terabyte version, but you have to wait 1 to 2 months till it's dispatched.
That sounds quite expensive to me. I think for
a terabyte, really?
Yeah, well, say for my SSD, my 4 terabyte, that might only cost me a couple of £100, I think.
See, this is the problem, Ruth. I think that memory, I mean, it's obviously a good thing, but memory has become so cheap that there's no consequence now of just taking thousands and thousands of photos, which just clog up hard drives, because it's almost free to do it. Whereas if memory still cost a fair amount, I think people would be a little bit more choosy with the photos that they take, rather than just going around machine gun style and spray and pray.
Yeah, I remember buying a memory stick for my dad for his Christmas must have been about 20 years ago, and it was, I don't even know, what's less than 1 gigabyte. It was very small, and it cost me about £120. And then within like a year, you were getting 4 or 5 times that much. And it's just, yeah. Anyway, check that out if you're interested. That's the new Canon EOS R6 Mark III. Now, Marcus has found my Christmas present with this next item, which I was delighted to be sent a preview of. Marcus, why don't you tell everyone what you're buying me this year?
Well, I didn't know until now, Ruth, but I'm buying you the Lulex organizer bag. Is that right? Okay.
Well, that's it.
I knew that it was you that had put this into the mix for the show today. When I looked at it, I mean, this is a bag that's clearly designed around style over practicality.
Hey, you found this one, by the way, Marcus. This was not found by me. This was found by you.
Really?
Yes, it was. Because I was like, oh, good find, Marcus.
Must have been having a weird moment then. But anyway, so looking at this bag, it's would you agree, Ruth, that it looks a little bit like a handbag?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
So it's definitely aimed at the feminine market, I think, even though they have photos of guys wearing it.
One would imagine women would be the ones wanting it, yes.
Yeah, but I can't imagine
general.
Nick wearing this. He's far too masculine.
I mean, maybe some city types would, sleek leather, maybe they can pull it off with their sharply dressed ensemble, I don't know. But in general, I would say it's women.
But anyway, Lulex make a wide range of stylish camera bags, and the organizer bag, which is the one we're talking about here, it looks a little bit like a lady's handbag, so it could be suitable for you on a Friday, I suppose, Nick. But it can hold a camera body, a couple of lenses, a tablet or a small laptop maybe, as well as a few accessories such as memory cards, spare batteries and a charger, for example. They're marketing it on style and quality of materials rather than its sort of practicality. As looking at it, and I don't know this for a fact, but looking at it, I don't think that you could put a camera with a lens attached to it inside the bag.
Doesn't actually look like it. No, it's very much if you've got your little Leica.
No, so I think you'd have to take the lens off of the camera, and then you'd put the camera body in and the lenses in. And does anybody really do that? Every time you bring the camera out of the bag, do you want to attach a lens to it and then take it off again?
I mean, you could. If you're looking at some of the imagery they've got there, they've got the camera body side on and the lens on its own next to it. You could just remove a divider, and if it's a small camera, it would go in side on. I don't think there's a problem with that side of things.
I mean, I've actually just watched a video on the website where they've got a little compact camera. They put that into the bag. They've put a passport in the bag, put keys in the bag. They've attached something to the strap of the bag, which have then attached a mirrorless camera with lens on it. So that's actually going to be sitting externally of the bag.
Yeah, well, that's the next thing I was going to come to. So they've got this stupid camera strap, branching off of the shoulder strap of the bag, which I think is designed to have your camera connected to.
Yeah.
But as you say, Nick, I can't see anyone wanting to do this. As first of all, the appeal of this bag is the design and the fashion of it, and the moment you have a camera hanging upside down banging into the front of it ruins that aesthetic anyway, so why would you want to do that? And B, why would you want to walk around with a camera bashing against your hip? It's not going to be comfortable, is it? So I can see the point of it. It's kind of like an anti-theft thing, so that nobody can come up and grab the camera out of your hand and run off down the street, because you're still going to be attached to it. But if that happens, they're probably just going to take your bag as well as the camera.
I mean, for me, it's the kind of thing that I would take to Venice with a film camera or something like that.
Yes,
or a Leica.
But or a Leica. But only a Leica would look good coming out of this this bag. But the website has some good photography, but it's all in German. So it's not easy to find the details out of each.
Photography isn't in German, by the way, people. It's just the text is in German.
But I was trying to find out some details about what the bag. It looks like it's made of leather.
Can I give you a tip,
is it
Marcus?
genuine leather?
See on the address bar,
yes.
There's a Google Translate that goes to English. Yeah. Just press English and you're sorted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the website is in English as well, but I failed to find that bit. So this particular bag will cost you £179. It comes in black, brown, beige, or limited edition. Do you know what the limited edition is, Nick?
Green?
No, it's black with a red strap.
Oh, no.
So that's for the Leica users.
Yeah, so it's a bit like the famous Fawlty Towers episode where Basil Fawlty is offering duck with orange, duck with cherries, and duck surprise. And someone asked, what's the duck surprise? And he said, well, it's duck without the orange and cherries. So it just reminded me of this bag. You know, the limited edition is just basically a little bit of red on one of the other options.
Excellent. Moving on, it's a very nice piece of gear. If you've got someone in your life you think might like that, it's not super expensive as far as camera bags go, although size-wise, perhaps 179 Great British pounds, or whatever the equivalent is of that in Europe or the US, wherever you're listening. So have a wee look at that if you would like to. Item number 4, Nicholas. What have you got that's a bit different here?
Here's a stocking filler for you. It's the Polar Pro Arctic Circular Polarizer. Arctic polarizer. It lets in half a stop more light than a typical polarizer, which I think reduces the light by normally about 1.5 stops, 1.5 stops. I think I'm right in saying.
Well, yeah, the one that I use is one stop basically.
Yeah. So anywhere on that. So it lets in half a stop more light. But why call it the Arctic polarizer? Well, it's actually been designed in conjunction with filmmaker and photographer Benjamin Hardman. If you don't know who he is, I actually follow him on YouTube and social media myself. He lives in Iceland and he works in a lot of Arctic places. So he's basically come to them with the idea, so he works where light levels are a bit lower. So he came up with this idea. Can we create a polarizer that lets in more light, basically?
And it does.
Yes. And it comes in a funky white colour.
Oh, okay.
And they also say it's easier to adjust whilst you're wearing gloves. Now, I've never had any problems adjusting my polarizer with gloves, but it's a little bit thick. I think it's a little bit thicker than a normal polarizer, they say. And what's interesting, actually, what they call the throw. So how much you have to actually turn the polarizer to get the effect is less than maybe other polarizers. So not necessarily that makes it any easier for gloves, but I quite like that idea, the fact you have to turn it less to get the effect.
I don't know about you, Nick, but I sometimes use a polarizer as an ND.
Yes.
So, if you need an extra stop or one stop less of light or an extra stop of exposure, that's what I was going to say, then you can put a polarizer on, rotate it so that it's not polarizing, and it becomes a one-stop MD, which, for a film shooter can be quite useful. But, I'm just saying that for every advantage, the selling point of this one is that it's brighter than all the other polarizers. There's a disadvantage because there's no point in having a half a stop ND filter, is there?
No.
It looks good though. I mean, it looks good with the gloves, Nick, the nice tan gloves, and then the nice white thing, and the nice. Yeah. But is it expensive? Is it more expensive than normal polarizers? Or they jack the price up?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just going to actually go through the different sizes, see if the prices increase. For an 82mm or a 77, which is kind of like a standard, $150.
So it's a lot of money. But it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the Benjamin Hardman name, if people know who he is. I mean, I think that's partly what will make it sell, that funky white colour,
For the fashionistas.
It's the kind of thing that would look good coming out of a Lulex organiser bag, Ruth.
That's exactly what I was thinking. just have the two things together. Everyone will think that's a professional photographer right there.
Yes.
Anyway, check it out if it's of interest to you. You think you need an extra half stop of exposure, then in the show notes, of course, as usual, check that out. Our final item in the gear section, does the world really need this? Something I came across, which normally I could kind of scroll straight past, but having a look at some of the stuff they've been doing with it, actually looks like quite a handy tool. Marcus, why don't you explain what this is?
Yeah, so this is the Creative Console by a company called Torbox. I'll start by quoting the company's motto here. Torbox embodies freedom to create, equality in access, empowering creators to simplify workflows, focus on art, and embrace a sustainable creative lifestyle.
It's quite the promise.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. Yeah, wake up, Nick. So I'll describe what this is. Well, what I think it is anyway. So It's a little console with lots of buttons and wheels and controls on it, joysticks, etc. And you can edit photos or use it to control your photo editor. So whether you're using Photoshop or whatever other editor you're using, and you can assign different functions to different buttons and dials and wheels and what have you. And I kind of get the concept, but do they not realise that there was something invented about 30 years ago called the mouse? And that will do everything that this will do already. And let me phrase it this way, okay? Let's imagine that the mouse had never been invented, okay? And everybody had been using this kind of thing, which is a little box with lots of little dials and wheels and buttons and what have you on it. And that's how we lived our lives on the computer. Okay, we did everything on that. And then all of a sudden, in 2025, Apple came out and said, listen, we've had this breakthrough and we've designed something called a mouse. And it just goes in your hand and you can do everything with just like one click, and you move your hand around and it just follows around on the screen. Everyone would be ditching their consoles and going with a mouse. This is going backwards as far as I'm concerned.
I quite like the wheel idea, and just the ease of going back and forward and checking things, and the exposure and the hue.
Yeah, but you say the ease of going backwards and forwards. You have to program all of this stuff to do what you want. So it's not actually that easy. If I was given one of these, I know exactly what would happen. I would plug it in. I would get frustrated. After 10 minutes, I would give up. It would go in the drawer and I'd just use a mouse.
Fair enough. Nick, have you had a look at it?
I am. I'm looking at it now. It looks like something you used to play that old computer game Pong.
Pom?
With.
Pom?
Pong. Pong. P-O-N-G. Yeah. You know, the little... It's actually before your time, Ruth.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, I've seen these before. Other companies have made them, and I've always thought, nah, not for me personally. As Marcus says, keyboard shortcuts and the mouse.
Let me give you some selling points, Nick, to see if I can convince you otherwise. And this is from their own website. Okay, so these are the things that they're promoting it on. It's got powerful customization systems. Is that any good to you? Okay. It's got 3-speed adjustable rotary buttons.
Oh, wow.
It's got deep software API development. Is that any use to you? It's got intelligent auto preset switching.
Well, I like the sound of that one.
Yeah. It's got scenario algorithm applications.
This is all sounding AI, Marcus.
Okay, and there's 2 more. It's got unique screen interactive systems, and it's got rich, unique features, which is a bit vague. I think that last one's a little bit vague. So we didn't really understand what most of the others were, and the last one's very vague. So I think you're scraping the barrel, really, if they're the selling points of this product.
So not one you want in your stocking, you don't reckon this year?
No, if anyone buys this, please include the receipt so I can claim back the, depending on what model you've bought me, will either be $94 up to $297.
Okay. I was
just going to say, they've got 4 different models, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the cheapest one is 94, which is the light one, and then 2 in the middle, and then the top one is 297.
Well, actually, they've actually got Black Friday deal by the looks of it, and they're actually cheaper than that.
I mean, the fact they've got 4 iterations means someone's buying them, and they're obviously improving each time. But, okay, so does the world need it? Yes, no?
Not for me.
For me, absolutely not, because I already have a mouse and a keyboard.
Okay.
And like I was saying, when I was discussing this earlier with Nick, he was saying that you can, rather than assign keyboard shortcuts, you can assign those shortcuts to the buttons. But I then pointed out that you still need the keyboard because you still need to name stuff. You can't name stuff on this. So it's not as if it replaces the keyboard. All this does is it clutters your desk because it doesn't replace the mouse. It doesn't replace the keyboard. So you've got 3 things instead of 2 things.
You do get things that are similar to this. For example, people who stream, live streaming, and it's a little console and you can program the buttons to do different things. And that is actually helpful because you're not faffing about with your mouse all the time. But that's for a live scenario.
Yes.
I understand.
But this
where you're
is for
coming
photo
from.
editing.
Yes.
And I've never had a problem editing a photo with a mouse before, so I don't really see that I need any help.
Imagine what your photos could be if you had the wheel and you were just able to just 15 seconds down to 5, possibly.
Yeah,
Plus
but it would have taken me 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It would have taken me 4 weeks to set the blooming thing up.
Okay, all right. So the world does not need that, we don't think. Feel free to check out any of these gear items we've mentioned in the show notes. Right, guys, because it is Christmas coming up then.
Happy Christmas.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anything either that we've talked about this year or that we haven't talked about this year that you think you'd quite like if you had a Christmas fairy who didn't have a budget in your stocking this year? Big or small? Anything in particular? Anything new that's out, perhaps, or something that you've maybe just thought, I should get that at some stage?
I'd like a new R6.
I've got an R6 Mark II.
No, I've actually bought myself a Christmas present.
Oh, have
Ruth.
you?
Yeah,
You know
and
that's not how it works, generally.
I know, but nobody would buy this for me, so I just thought, well, I'll just buy it myself.
Fair enough.
It's a Christmas present to myself. And it is, I don't actually have it yet, but I've been promised that it will arrive before Christmas.
By
so
yourself, okay. Yep.
I'll wrap it up and pretend that I don't know what's
so
inside.
Sad. Okay, yeah.
But it's a developing tank that will allow me to develop 10 by 8 photo sheets on location. How's that?
So it's a big plant pot, like a big piece of plastic.
It's not actually that big. It's plastic. It's like a tray, and it's got 2 little holes at the top, one to pour the liquids in.
You bought yourself a plastic tray?
Yeah, but it's a lot more elaborate than that.
Right.
And what it will do is it means that I can go out, I can take a photo, and if I wish to do so, I can develop that photo there and then on the scene and have a look at it and go, yep, that's nailed, move on. Or, oh dear, I forgot, take the lens cap off, I'll do that one again.
And would you need this in conjunction with your Ilford pop-up darkroom or something like that?
No, that's the beauty of it. You can develop film in daylight. It's all light sealed. You see, this is the beauty of it, and it's very small. It will just fit into a bag. So it's made by a company called Zebra if you're listening in North America. So it does have a name, but I don't know what it is.
Do you say zebra? Which one is it?
I say zebra.
I say zebra. Okay, never mind.
Well,
Let's not have that conversation.
You've been watching too much American television.
This was before American television. Anyway, Nick, how about yourself?
No, I'm just a bit sad. I can't
think of anything you want.
No,
fair enough.
He's just got the usual box of Quality Street.
Yeah, I have everything I need.
Well, see, there you go. He doesn't need any fancy gear to make his photos any better. He's got what he wants and he's content.
Well, he probably does.
No, keep it there, Nick. Keep it there. Anyway, there we go. That's our gear section. That's our news section. That's our quiz. That's our December podcast. And that's it for this year, in fact, for 2025. So thank you for everyone that's tuned in this year. Hope you've been enjoying the podcast. We are carrying on, of course, as you heard, into 2026. So no break for us. No break for the Wicked. We're back in January with our January podcast. But thank you to Marcus and Nick for that, and thank you to the others who've disappeared.
Do you think we should revamp the show for the new year?
What
Ruth?
could we do, Marcus? What do you reckon?
I'm sure we can come up with something to make it a little bit fresher.
I'll add a bit of frillery to it, a little bit of okay.
We'll introduce a few more jingles and production elements.
We can do that. No visuals. We're never going to have this visual, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering. Far too distracting in general. But anyway, thank you for everyone that has tuned in this year and for all your support. We really do appreciate it. Do keep getting in touch. Email, comment, whatever, podcast@mc2photography.com. And we will be back, like I said, next month. Have a wonderful festive season. We will see you or hear you or you'll hear us or something like that in 2026. So until then, take good care. But most of all, take good photos.
Happy Christmas.
You've been listening to the Photography Online podcast in partnership with Kingjoy Tripods.